Paving this shit crank.
Hey family, what's going on today? Let me see, how do I introduce this? Well, this is a continuation story from the cop who makes the army lieutenant. Um, it was in Windsor, and there's been some information. They actually fired that officer, since this incident took place. But to me, I feel like they both need to be fired, not just one person. But the one that really should have been fired was the Hispanic cop because of the way that he was talking to this black lieutenant and threatening him and telling him that something about getting him put in the electric chair. It was just really disrespectful the way he was talking to a man that was actually fighting in a war for his freedom. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that this was like really cruel, and especially with the attacks that's going on with African Americans and Latino people alike, you want to turn around and treat somebody bad. So I think that both officers should have been fired and no chance of ever getting a job in law enforcement of any area or any capacity ever again. So the police officer who pepper sprayed a black army lieutenant in December has lost his job over the altercation. This, as a lawsuit against the cop makes its way through court, and that's good. I'm glad because they have this new thing where I don't remember the word, but the cops are not getting in trouble for the accident and the crimes that they're committing. But in this case, it's not going down like that, buddy. You going down for sure. Okay, the town of Windsor, Virginia, broke the news Sunday saying Officer Gutierrez had since been terminated after an investigation following the incident late last year, which determined he did not follow department policy during the hectic traffic stop. And it was crazy because the video, you can see the black guy just saying, like, what did I do? I'm afraid to get out the car, with his hands up. And then the Gutierrez was like, well, you need to be afraid, and then he threatened to ruin the career of this lieutenant, which is crazy. What type of anger issues do you have that you should have taken care of before you became a police officer? This is the problem, even with African American policemen. They tend to display anger against their own people to try to please their partner that may be Caucasian or of another race. It's really crazy. Sounds like Gutierrez, who later suggested Lieutenant Karen Nazario let this go and avoid punishment from the army, and awkwardly broke up a race relations. I mean, brought up a race relations. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know why I said that. Um, yeah, he was telling the guy that if he pressed charges, that he was going to ruin his career, and he was saying, I forgot, it was something else that he said that was kind of racist, and I was like, wow, this dude is off the chain. Okay, he was actually cut loose a good while ago. Windsor officials say new training was implemented back in January after their preliminary probe into this wrapped up. So this is crazy. I don't know who this guy is right here. I don't know, but they also turned off their body cameras as they were physically assaulting this young man. Maybe this is Gutierrez. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, it's unclear if the other officer who was on the scene is still on force or not. He should be fired too, especially if he didn't do anything to stop his partner from being dum dum. The town of Windsor's leaders promised to continue being transparent about the case, adding that they have complied with Lieutenant Nario's request as litigation has already gotten underway and the video have leaked because the guy cut the video off when he was abusing this guy. and this came out of somebody's tweet. I have a copy of that actual letter. It says breaking. Joe Gutierrez, one of the two officers involved in the pepper spray incident of Lieutenant Nazaro, has been fired from the Windsor VA Police Department. It's small right here, but I have a copy of it, so I'm going to insert it at some point. Okay, it's not a very long story. So, referring to the case, the town leaders say, we are saddened for events like this to cast our community in a negative light rather than deflect criticism. We have addressed these matters with our personnel, administrative, yeah, it should say personnel administration, so I guess they wrote it the way they did. We are reaching out to our community stakeholders to encourage dialogue and commit ourselves to additional discussions in the future. But see, the thing of it is okay. Virginia's Governor Ralph Northam, I think that's how you say it, has called for an even deeper dive into the traffic stop at the state level, and Windsor officials say they'll play ball with whatever they found necessary. And this is the thing, you guys, like places like Virginia, Maryland, all those different places, North Carolina, South Carolina, Arkansas, Texas, all these different places, you have these people that grow up with the mindset of being prejudiced. Like back in the day, like way back when, black people were lynched, and they would have public signs out telling black people, telling people there was going to be a public lynching of black people, and the white people that was there at the actual lynching, they would set the black people on fire, and then they would put marshmallows on a stick, and they will allow their children to cook their marshmallows while this black person's body is burning. I think that was the most disgusting and grotesque stuff. So a lot of people don't know the hell that black people went through. And the word picnic, nobody knows about that either. And picnic was for a white person to hunt out and pick a quote unquote nigger to kill. And people be like, oh, we're going to go on a picnic. You don't even know the history behind the word picnic. So people just lightly say things and do things, and they have no clue behind the history of a lot of words that are being used and why those words are popular. But as I do my research and I find out more, who would really truly have, who has a man, this is crazy. The thing that gets me is that you can actually sit there and lynch a person in broad daylight in the open for everybody to stand around smiling, taking pictures, roasting marshmallows and whatever else you did, while you were lynching and burning a black person's body to death. You know what I'm saying? And then people sit around and make little comments about black people. One thing that I found out, and this is not a hate thing, this is just something that continues and continues to go on. Because I can remember when my kids were little, we lived in a part of California where it was predominantly black people, but they had all white sheriffs, all white policemen manning the area. So one particular day, I was in my house and my kids were outside playing with their friends, and someone came and knocked on my door, and I ran downstairs because I was like the neighborhood. Even though I'm young, I was the neighborhood mom. All the kids loved me. So I go downstairs and I'm like, what's going on? And here this officer has a hot car engine, and he has one of the neighborhood's kids' hands pressed on this hot engine. So I had met this girl that her uncle was like the big, I forget what you call him. He was like the captain of the sheriff's department that was, down the street from my house. And I turned and I called, and they had me on the phone. So I ended up speaking to the person. They was like, oh, how you doing? And I told them who I was. So I explained to them, look, your officer's engine is super hot, and he has this kid's hands on this engine as a way of punishment, and the kid keeps moving his hands because he's uncomfortable. And so the officer walked over and told me to shut the flip-flop up. I said, you shut the flip-flop up. And so next thing you know, you can hear over the officer's walkie-talkie, And the top guy said, "What's the officer's name?" I said, "What's your name?" And he said, "None of your damn business." And so his boss heard that. So his boss was like, okay, I'm on my way. And so while he was still on the talking, he was like, who is talking to the lady and telling her none of her damn business? So they identified who he was. And he was like really disrespectful to me, you guys, for real. And so I told him, you don't have a right to talk to me. He said, I will lock your, seriously, I'll lock your black ass up. I said, you won't do such a thing. And so his boss gets there and I'm having a conversation. I said, you can't do that because I didn't do anything. And so his boss told him, this lady right here, he said, I was on the phone the entire time that you were talking disrespectfully to this woman. And he said, and you need to go back to the station now. And I was like, uh-oh. And he was like, who is the young man? The young dude name was Tony. So he talked to Tony. It was like, yeah, we was out here playing, minding our business, and they came and they saw us. And he was telling me that I needed to do this or I'm going to get in trouble. And I told him I didn't do anything. And so I explained that one of the kids got scared and came and got me because we know that they'll quickly shoot kids and make up a big old lie and say, that it's something else went on. So by me being out there on the phone calling, thank God I had a friend that, had that connection. So the officer, I explained to him that I was asking him why does he have this young boy's hand on this burning hot car? And so I didn't get the end of what happened, but all I know was the conversation that was had was that he will no longer be working for the sheriff's department any longer. So that to me let me know that this dude was fired, period, point blank. So they had did that to prevent a lawsuit because that right there was a lawsuit. This dude's hands were burnt. When I say they were burnt, they weren't like first degree burns, but he did get treated for the burns. So so it was just like a crazy story. Excuse me, how they disproportionately put these police officers and these sheriffs in all dominant areas of black people, Latino people, and you know nothing about the culture of the people that you are dealing with. You want to deal with black people with straight aggression. And a lot of times black people just simply want to know, what did I do? Don't question me, boy. Don't question me. Oh, your tail light is out. Like one particular time, this is something that happened to me. I had purchased a new car. I was feeling really good. I was happy. It was a convertible. I was like, yes, I got the car that I wanted. And so I had went to church, and after church, my uncle needed a ride home, and his friend needed a ride home. They lived in the same building. So I said, okay, I had the top down. I was playing my music, but it wasn't so loud that I couldn't hear the conversation that was going on in the car. So these two Caucasian officers saw me, and they pulled me over. And I said, what's the problem? He said, your tags are expired. I was like, no, sir, my tags are not expired. He told me to shut up. So I dialed 911 and I explained, an officer pulled me over. I just purchased my car. This is before I was able to get that contact phone number, you guys, for, from a friend, so I can be in touch. So I was like, the officer pulled me over, and I had my phone on speaker, and the dispatcher was like, well, I'm gonna listen in and see what happens. I said, yes, ma'am. And so he was like, your tail light is broken. I said, no, sir, my tail light is not broken. And my uncle and them, they're older. They were like, stop talking. I said, no, I have a right to speak. I'm not being disrespectful. He said, shut up. I said, you are not to tell me to shut up. You don't have to speak to me in that tone and in that manner. And I'm sitting here just like really angry because I'm looking at the fear in my uncle's face. And I'm like, what are you afraid for? I'm not saying anything. And so the officer just was like, your registration is bad. You don't have insurance. I said, sir, I have all that information in my glove box. And he was like, get it. I said, you can get it. The convertible windows down. I'm giving you permission to pull it out. It's the first envelope you see. He said, you need to take it. And he just was so nasty to me. And so the 911 dispatcher was like, hello. I was like, yes, ma'am. And he was like, you on the phone? I said, yes, I've been on the phone the entire time. I put it on speaker. And the operator is like, sir, what is your information? And I told her what street we was on and where I was. And I remembered the address because it was like the building next to my uncle's home address. And I was like, it's one building before such and such and such and such. And so she was like, okay, don't hang up. And he was looking, and then he came back. He said, hold on one second. Okay, he walked away. He was busted. His partner was on the other side, was like quiet, like telling him, dude, you don't have to be so rude. She's not being rude. And so the lieutenant, I guess that the captain or somebody, they pulled up. And so because the dispatch operator, and I learned that trick. When a police officer pulled me over, I hit 911. I don't care what nobody say, because I want them to capture everything you saying and everything you doing. And I put my phone right there. And so when his boss came, he was trying to lie, and the dispatch operator was still on the phone. And I turned off the music and everything, and I was like, the dispatch operator was like, "Ma'am," I'm still here, and I said, "Well, he's telling the office, his boss, a whole different story." She said, "Ma'am, we have this call on record," and his boss was like, "What happened?" And I said, "I'm gonna keep her on the phone so she could tell you whether I'm telling a lie or not." I said, he pulled me over because I'm an African American woman and I have two black men in the car with me. I have a new car. He said that my license, my tags are expired, and that he was gonna call a tow truck to take my car from me. And he was like, I didn't say that. And his partner was like, yes, you did. And the operator was like, yes, you did. And when the big boss went behind my car, he said, her tags are up to date. So you was gonna tow her car for no reason. This is the kind of injustice. I have been so blessed, you guys. When I say I've been blessed, I have been so blessed. Do you hear what I'm saying? That I have not encountered a cop that pulled out a gun and hurt me. I have been so blessed. But the reason why I'm saying this is because this stuff happens every day, and a lot of people don't think that it happens, and they say all these black people are just making up stories. No, we are not making up stories. If they didn't have cameras today, a lot of stuff that has gone on would not be seen, you guys. And then it ends up happening to other race of people, and they end up rallying. And it's like these cops are like trigger happy. Like, I'm just speaking, so please don't get offended. I'm black myself, so I can say this. They feel like I'm going to kill a nigga. Let a nigga act up. I'm going to pop a cap in their butt. And this is the mentality that they have. They have these racist conversations, and then you have kids. Like one time I took my son, I'm sidetracking, to the park, and we were playing, and this little Latino kid, I would see his mom often. I would talk to her, and we would have conversation. And one day the little kid got mad at my son and said, my mommy said you niggers are no good. I looked at her, and she turned red. I said, okay. I said, that's how you feel? Okay. And she was like, I said, no, don't ever talk to me again. Ever. Don't ever talk to me again. And believe me, I went back and I did tell some of our associates that knew her what her child had said. She couldn't say anything. Her mouth dropped to the ground. And a lot of the African American people that was rallying around her, doing different projects and stuff with her, for the school, nobody any longer wanted to deal with her. And tried to turn herself to be the victim, but nobody was falling for that, you guys. I'm just telling you, it's just a lot of stuff that goes on, and you have black people that make derogatory statements against white people because of the stuff that happened to them in the past. The stuff that happened to, I'm talking about the older generation, the things that they used to do to them, sick dogs on them, beat them, burn down their house, burn down their properties, police killing them, shooting them, lynching them, hanging them, and going along with the lynching game. You know, the police would follow suit with them and allow them to lynch the person. And once the job was done, they would take off. It was crazy, you guys. So it's still the same thing today. It's almost like a modern day lynching still going on, and nobody is paying attention. Even with the George Floyd situation, I don't care if I was an officer and that guy was high and I knew that he was a big guy, I would have tried to talk to him, say, dude, look, come on. And I know that people can be radical. I'd be like, dude, look, just let us put the handcuffs on you. Just let us see what we can do, okay? You don't have to get upset. But if I would have handcuffed him, I definitely would have sat him in the car. I would not have stuck my knee in this man's neck and cut off his air supply and killed him. And then they sit there like they have a badge of honor and a token. Ooh, one more strike for us. We done killed a black person. And it's almost, that's what it's like, you know. So I do have my issues with the police department, the way that they handle and deal with African Americans and Latino people. Not all of them are like that. I've met some very, very kind police officers that were white, that were Hispanic, that were Asian, that were of a different race. They were very kind. They weren't nasty. They weren't rude. But you have those that are so horrible that they make it bad for other police officers. So then you have people that are on their guard, like, oh my God, what are he gonna try to do? What's gonna happen now? So some of these police officers are only speaking what they truly feel about the other race of people that's in the area that they have to service and that they have to, you know, protect and serve. So I know that this seems like it went off kilter, but I just have to, when I hear things and see things, I give testimonies on a lot of things that has happened, you know. And if I see a story that somebody that I know had something happen to them, I don't have a problem with mentioning that, because you have to hear that these things are real. It's not just people making up stories. People are really being harassed for the color of their skin. Black people have a really hard time in America, and people say that we're lazy, we don't want to work. Well, let me tell you something. If they really felt that way, okay, how do you think the White House and all these other places, these corporations that are over 100 plus years old, up to like 60, 70 years old, how do you think that these people are rich? They got it off the backs of black people that were enslaved. They got it off the backs of black people that they barely wanted to pay. You know, like black people were picking cotton for free, you know, and then they want to say that black people don't work because the Latinos and the immigrants are picking fruit. Yeah, they're still enslaved because they're not paying those people the right amount of money that it takes to pick that fruit. It be hot as hell out there, and them people are picking fruit. You know what I'm saying? If you pay a person the right amount of money that they feel like they should get for picking fruit and all these other things, people will work, you know. But you're taking advantage of the Latinos, you're taking advantage of the illegal immigrants to make yourself richer. That's exactly what's happening in America. They're taking advantage of people. Okay? So I don't want to hear this crap about people not wanting to work. You know, I know I went off in a tangent, but it's relevant. You know, so anyway, like I was saying, you guys, I hope that I did not offend anybody. And if I did, I apologize. But I just have to speak my truth. I just have to speak what I know to be true. So you guys, until next video, I thank each and every one of you for visiting my channel. And you guys, don't go out there and cause more problems for yourself. If the police officer tells you to do something, just simply do it, you guys. Just do it. You know, even if it sounds like they're being an asshole, just do it. You know, it'll get you where you need to go a whole lot faster. You know, that's a hard job to have as well. But when you have jerks like Gutierrez, yeah, I can see where people will be hostile with him. So you guys, until next video, hit that like button, that post notification bell, and subscribe to the channel, you guys. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. And for you guys, I'm going to up the amount of money for the 1,000 subscriber. So I would love for you to get a Chime card. They're free. Get a Chime card. for whoever is the 1,000 subscriber, that will help me to get you your money without a fee quicker, because I don't want any delays when I reward the person. And Nick, if you're listening from Insuline We Trust News Media, the day that my 1,000 subscriber is discovered, I need your help in you showing me who the actual person is, because I don't want to give it to the wrong person. So when that day happens, I really would like to do it on your channel so that we both could share in the excitement, and just make it a family thing, because like I said, you've been telling people to come to my channel, and I truly appreciate you. And for those that don't know who Nick is from Insuline We Trust News Media, go and visit his page. He tells the truth. He gives you the straight facts on the news. When he hears something about somebody, that something took place with them, he doesn't go with the first thing he hears. He always say, we're going to talk about it, but let's wait for the information to come out so that we can report it the correct way. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Air Force One. Thank you, Miss Gonzalez. Thank you to all my chain breakers, my A1s from day ones. I appreciate you guys. You take care of yourself and have a blessed, blessed, blessed day. Until next video, I'll talk to you later. You want to say bye? You got to come in here and say it. Come here. Oh, he said no. Bye. I hope you guys heard that. Bye.